Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War Sound the Horn event, in which the Orion's Herald is added to the game, so let's get into that. As far as the trait stone, there's basically only one thing to really put this into, but you definitely should if you haven't already, and that is into the Archer Hero class. The Archer Hero class from Forest of Thorns is the best, most well-rounded hero class within the game, and if you're going to be sticking with only one hero class, this is definitely the one to do so, and this is the arcane trait stone that it requires, so definitely a good idea to go get that upgraded or go get a few spares for it. As far as this troop itself, it is pretty bad. It is a common. It does summon an Orion, which is a legendary at 100% chance, though Orion is one of the worst legends in the game. From an early game perspective, this troop actually isn't horrible, mainly because this giving some life to all of your allies and then summoning an Orion can be okay, simply because Orion does gain 5 magic every single cast it does, which is quite beneficial at a lower level range, though this late in the game, this guy is not going to be used at all other than for the extra little bonus that he gives this current week. But yeah, nothing really too special about him. He does have 20% dodge, he does have that air link. But unless you're like under level 150 or under level 100, you're really not going to be touching this troop after this given week. So a little bit unfortunate, but it is only a common after all. As far as the event objectives, we have quite a bit of a nice bonus. This bonus seems to be what they always give whenever there's a Divining Field event, but it's 10% to Divining Fields plus 10% to all Centaurs, which is really beneficial as almost the entirety of Divining Fields are Centaurs. That's like 3/4 the kingdom or so, all with 20% bonus this week. So quite a few troops in there that are gaining a very, very high amount of stats. Whenever we use this new glory troop that ended up coming into the game in PvP, we will now get 2 times trait stones this week. So easiest way to go do this is go to casual PvP on the 1 trophy battles, keep repicking it for 50 gold until you get a ridiculously easy battle, and just keep repeating that until you have all the trait stones you want. Similarly, it's also pretty good to do that exact same thing, repeating on the 1 trophy on the casual PvP in order to just go kill a bunch of brown troops. So every single brown troop you end up killing, you will end up getting event gems for this week, and if you get 300, you'll end up getting 12 event keys, 3 gem keys, as well as 90 gems, so a pretty decent amount of loot right there. You also get Atlanta, which if you don't have a current AoE troop at all that hits all enemies, this is one of the easier ones to obtain, so pretty nice to have that as well from an early game's perspective. As far as the keys themselves this week, not really too worth going for. There are some things that you may want to throw a few dozen for, most notably being Herdmaster and Ragnagord, but as far as everything that's currently available from that drop table, if we go over to Divining Fields, the event key drop table is composed of these current troops: Anthea, Artima, Astral Spirit, Atlanta, Boltaurus, Herdmaster, Orion, Ragnagord, and Wardbreaker. Of these troops, the only ones you'd really want to try getting would be the Herdmaster, the Ragnagord, and if you got insanely lucky, the Wardbreaker. But really, I would just throw about a dozen, get Herdmaster, Ragnagord, and then just stop there. But yes, technically, Wardbreaker is available. He is one of the better mythics in the game, probably top 5. He also has 20% bonus this week, which makes him insanely good. He is tied at the highest mana cost in the entire game, but he hits really high damage on all enemies, even higher this week, as well as a really high static amount of explosions. This amount of explosions is not based on his magic. Even if you are a newer player who had this, you would still have the full amount of explosions, so he gets a lot of value out of it. He's generally used more so in dragon teams than centaurs, but still, he's the Divinian Centaur, so he still ends up getting 20% this week, which is pretty nice. But yeah, for the most part, I'd throw a few down to get Herdmaster Rag, and other than that, I would just stop. Not really worth going all the way to Wardbreaker, because it could cost you anywhere from 500 to 1,000 event keys, and that is way too many. Just to get him, you might as well just wait until he comes back in Soulforge. Speaking of Soulforge, though, let's go into Soulforge and see what's in. There's only one thing that's currently available this week that is worth getting, and that is the Alumagrim. Not the go-to kind of thing to go craft, but if you've already crafted several other mythics and you don't know what to go for, Alumagrim could be okay. It's currently considered one of the best, if not the best, imperviouses in the game. It is, of course, has impervious, but it also has a really high attack decrease onto the opposing team, 4 attack reduction to all enemies every single time you extra turn. This is particularly good against Ubistet. It's also good against Skulls and Doom Skulls, particularly just normal Skulls, since that negates out almost all of their damage compared to Doom Skulls, which still retain a decent amount of it, even if you go and reduce their attack. But still very, very nice to use against Skull-related things, and anything that boosts based on attack can counter it out very well. Other than that, it is notorious for being used on Purple Guild War Day, given that if you burn the entire enemy team, you can get as high as a 12 purple gem spawn, which makes it ridiculously easy to just infinitely loop and just get all the damage down. It's often used with Jarl Fire Mantle or with a fully traded Infernus in order to get the burns that you need, though you could do it with any burn option that is capable of burning all enemies. Alternatively, it's also occasionally used within 4x Dragon teams, though very rarely for that. It's mainly used as a attack reduction counter, as an impervious troop, or as a infinite purple looper. But still, a nice little pickup if you did want to go and get it. Not the best mythic out there, but definitely one to consider. So, let's go over now to the invasions. So, of course, we have invasions this week. Going to be showing 2 teams for this real quick. First one I'm going to be going with is the one I personally intend on using, though it does use Wardbreaker, which some people, of course, may not have. We'll go show a cheaper one after this. But it is Henry, or Herney, the new guy that ended up coming in from the invasion shop, like they do every single time, followed up by a Herdmaster, our hero, using the Mountain Crusher so we can get a bunch of explosions, combined with a Wardbreaker. So basically here we're just going to be destroying him simply with the Wardbreaker. We don't even really need anything else other than just the Wardbreaker, particularly for these earlier battles. It's going to make up almost the entirety of our damage. We of course can keep throwing this down on towers as we need to go kill it out, but very rarely will we be needing to actually get that in. Probably on the later towers we will, but at this current moment at the lower ones, definitely this infinite loop with Wardbreaker is the easiest way to get through, or any kind of AoE. As you can see, we can easily just clear through it. Our team is pretty decent to consider too if you happen to have her laying around, that she does get double kills very quickly in this game mode. Once you reach the later towers, that won't be as useful, but if you're just looking to wipe out the initial ones, definitely really good to go use her as well. But basically all we just keep doing is just doing the explosion loop and just get it down that way. Get that down. I believe one more Wardbreaker will do it. Fortunately, he didn't get full mana, though he did get the extra turn, so that's nice. 2 mana off. I guess we'll just go for Herdmaster. Herdmaster is really good in that it has a cleanse to all allies as well. It's only ultra rare, really easy to obtain. You could probably get in like 5 event keys this week, so highly advised. You're going to be using it in any invasion team you're using this week. You would definitely want to throw it in. Anyways, let's go and switch over to Mang real quick and just switch over to some kind of standard Mang team. So basically we'll move that up, keep Herdmaster there, and then go with Stargazer. And I believe we have to change banner slightly as well. Let's see. Brown, red, +2 red, +2 purple. I think +2 purple is actually the way to go. Just so we get the quicker Herdmaster. So let's go all the way over to that. I don't want to do the -yellow because... actually, you know what? It doesn't matter if we do -yellow to get the +1 red, because he already has +1 yellow naturally off his ability. And since he's divisible by 3, it's actually perfectly fine to minus his +1 that he has if we're only using 1 yellow on our team. And now that we're not using Wardbreaker, he's the only one. Obviously, we'd want to take purples instead of yellows. Main reason being is he explodes all yellows, so we obviously don't want to keep taking his yellows. It's not that big a deal, but if it's your only exploder on your entire team, which in this case it is, you could eventually get to the point where you're not really able to really maneuver much. Also, I didn't really go over this new guy, Henry. His unique thing is he destroys a random row, which is actually particularly unique in that nothing currently does that. There's like explode a random gem, but there's not destroy a random row. Which is actually kind of interesting, because no other troop kind of has that. It'd be cool if they eventually did that for Column as well, and maybe even like a plus shape, a random plus shape to the board. So basically what we do with this particular team is we go and buff up our first lot, and assuming this was at the later tower battles, you just gain essentially one-shot damage, or at least say pretty close to one-shot, 1 to 2 shot damage onto your first slot, kill out each of the towers, 1 skull at a time, and it'd pretty much just go from there. So as you can see, we already have enough damage to kill out everything on this team. It's only a matter of actually applying these skulls at this point. Unfortunately, there's no skulls around that we really need. Of course, we could throw some mangs and start getting that up too. That's basically our backup in case this thing dies. I can also keep poking this and just one-shotting the towers, which I probably should be doing right now, since we don't have too many other things to go poke them with. So we'll go to that. Triple the damage on that. 79. Ends up destroying a random row, which does some mana accumulation. Of course, he's getting like every skull on the board, and we still don't have a single one for ourselves. But we'll go and get rid of his barriers, so we'll be able to kill it when we come back around. He creates a bunch of skulls, which is very good for us. So we'll go move that down, take in another skull, and take it into... Oh, never mind, we don't have another option. Stargazer, do you align perfectly for us? Tell me you do. It doesn't look like you do. I think I'm still going for it. Oh no, we do. Right there, look at that. That goes down by 1, that goes down by 2. That'll be the hit we need, and that's way more than enough damage. And we hit 2 skulls simultaneously as well for 88 times 3 damage twice. So that's like 460 something damage we just hit him for. And yeah, either or. This would of course be the cheaper team. Actually ridiculously cheap other than the Mang. But most people, if you're around like the level 250 level range, you'd have it. Henry, you just get from some gems. Mang is just Mang. Ideally with a half mana start clearer class if you have. Herd Master you can get in like 5 to 10 event keys this week. And Stargazer is not in the event key drop table, though it's only a rare, so you probably have it laying around somewheres. You would need the Stargazer fully traded. Ideally, your hero fully traded if it's a half mana start. Actually, technically, basically everything on this team fully traded if you can. But yeah, it works decently and probably could go through all the invasions, though I do intend more so to use the Worldbreaker version of this team. Anyways, as far as some of the other things, we still have the 2 objectives. So as I mentioned, basically all we can do is keep repicking into PvP. One thing I did want to show real quick too, I don't think I'm actually going to use this team though, but it's pretty funny if you haven't used it before. Definitely advise doing if you have them laying around. 4 times Astral Spirit fully traded. It basically just one-shots everything because you hit through to true damage. And while we can't win this exact battle, like during quests and stuff like that, it's a pretty funny thing that you can run down. Compared to Sunbird Rowan, I don't really think it's that worth it. But you can get some really weird things happening because each one of these has board control. You get to remove any gem you want. All 4 of them have empowered. You keep hitting true damage on them. It's just really fun team to mess around with. If you're looking just for something fun to mess with this week, it's definitely something to consider. While she has 20% bonus. But anyways, obviously pretty standard Sunbird Rowan Firebomb. You even have Orion's Herald here, which is not completely useless in that he will be able to go and HP buff your Sunbird for slightly more damage if you need to go to that point. Or if your Sunbird somehow dies, you could replace it with Orion and then win out that way. But basically, pretty standard team here. Just throw Firebomb. Ideally, get your mana up off of that. Throw down your hit. Maybe do one little tap after that and go from there. And looks like we'll need one more little hit. And there we go. But yeah, that's pretty much all you have to do, and as you'll see at the end of this battle, we'll end up getting 2 times trait stones for that. Also, every single brown we kill, we're of course getting the 1 event gem as well, and that's pretty much how you do the event. Just keep going until you find every single one of your weakest teams, repick if it's not weak enough for you, and just keep repeating. Or if you want more browns, of course, you could also do it that way. But yeah, ridiculously easy trait stones this week if you want to go do that, as well as the easy objective of just killing out the brown ones. So, as far as one other thing I want to go show, it is a Orion week, so since I'll probably be doing plenty of Worldbreaker on streams, I figured I'd just go and show an Orion, since I probably won't be doing too many Orions this week, as he's generally not considered that good, but I figured I'd go with a budget Orion team just to kind of show. It's Orion, Astral Spirit, Ragnagord if you have, though Feral Hound is the budget version, which you'd probably have from Bounty Hunter already, and Stargazer. And basically what we do here is we throw Stargazer onto Orion. This then gives you one-shot range. Ideally, if you had this fully traded, which is the whole premise of this team, is you'll have 75% chance to ignore their armor. This into 1 Stargazer is enough attack that you pretty much one-shot everything in the game. Though, as I say that, we're up against 40% skull reduction, so I don't think we'll actually be able to go and do that to him. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should go repick him, because actually both those things have reduction. And of course, we go to an even more annoying team. And he has Archer. Okay, can we find something less annoying? Sure, we'll go with this. He still has the reduction, doesn't he? Okay, we should still be able to hit it, though. Wait, why is this one so weak? But still, it's our revenge rival. We'll still get the general premise of the team. Anyways, basically what we'll do here is Stargazer immediately into Orion. This will give you one-shot range more often than not. Double check if we have any board, though. I don't think we do, though we just have a skull lane right there. I might as well just go for the kill immediately. If you're wondering specifically why we're also using Feral Hound fully traded ends up giving you a Skull Storm. So we're basically utilizing that to hit it with a bunch of skulls. And as you can see, we've already hit it with 3 skulls. And as you can see, we don't have enough attack to hit it right there. So all we have to do is just go and give our attack buff. And we hit it for another attack. Unfortunately, the 75% chance, the 25% chance that it would hit physical damage just hit there and it wasn't able to do anything. But yeah. It's a pretty funny thing to mess around with. Let's go get a little bit more of a legitimate team. Okay, that might be a little bit too legitimate. Never mind. Okay, well, I guess we could go with just doing in casual PvP then real quick. What do we have here? No trolls. Go away. That Forest Troll might be too annoying. Normal Divine Team. I guess we could try it against Normal Divine Team, give it a shot. But yeah, Orion, not that good of a troop. More of an early game thing. Not really that advised this late in the game, but on weeks like this where he does have 20%, he is technically okay to use, even though he's, of course, still nowhere near particularly decent. But as you can see right here, we have 72. He only has 70 HP. Should be able to one-shot it. And now we have Skull Storm. The Skull Storm off the Pharaoh Hound will ideally give us the kills we need to end up winning out the battle. So we're going to try getting extra turns somewhere. It looks like we have it off of green. Obviously with Astral Spirit, other than just tapping it for that little bit of damage, we're also going to be wanting to hopefully get it for the little bit of true damage that we need to actually poke them down. So right here, we have two different skull options. Neither of which seem that tempting, so what I'm actually going to do is do this. He does have Hunter's Mark, so he can even double the amount of damage he does, though more often than not, a single Stargazer is enough. Right here, we're going to double check to see if we can actually Stargazer this down. Doesn't look like it because it only drops by 1 over there. Doesn't look like we have it over here either, so we're just going to go and drop a red, try getting some kind of Cascade, don't get it. But he'll just go for a Mercy, skull us into another skull apparently. He healed so much that we don't have enough to one-shot, but we can fix that simply by, of course, buffing him up again. And all we need now is, never mind, 1 skull, which, never mind, he already got killed out. So now we're going to have to slowly kill it out one by one as we hit it very slowly off of a bunch of other stuff. Luckily, we still have the Skull Storm maintaining for at least a little while until it just went away. But now we'll just have to kill it out by normal means. By normal means at this point, I guess that's technically just 1 more skull, as long as it doesn't heal. And there we go, it's not even a Skull Storm and we still get it down. But yeah, ideally you would just one-shot everything, 75% chance. And since he's using a Road Breaker real quick, I did actually just overwrite it, but I might as well show it, because this is probably one of the teams I will be using quite a bit this week. It does require Dragon Guard, well, not really require, but might as well go build it from scratch real quick. But Mountain Crusher, you guys probably see me use it quite a bit, but it is my absolute favorite World Breaker team. But it's Mountain Crusher, Dragon Soul, also my favorite all-dragon team, Dragon Soul, World Breaker, and Glitter Claw or Fair Shra. Fair Shra if you want souls, Glitter Claw if you want to win quickly. And we throw this into standard Dragon Soul banner. Ideally, you would use this with the Dragon Guard hero class. Obviously, we're not, because we have our hero class set more so for invasion this week than for actual PvP or anything. But yeah, Mountain Crusher with any hero class, ideally the Dragon Guard, Dragon Soul, World Breaker, and Glitter Claw. And if you did use the Dragon hero class, it would be a 4 times Dragon team as well. But World Breaker versus World Breaker, you generally put him in 3rd slot, as you can see. 3rd slot in almost every single instance, or against almost every single team, is the safest slot you could ever put anything into. So ideally, whatever your best troop is, you do tend to put into your 3rd slot in most situations. And that is no exception with this team. So essentially what we're going to be doing here, you can see we get the enchant off that one red that we took there. Glitter Claw will end up doing a blue to green convert. This feeds into our World Breaker, then the World Breaker feeds back into it, and basically we just keep going back and forth until we win. And as essentially the entirety of the team, we easily get max souls every single time due to Dragon Soul, and it just works out quite nicely. So if we have Glitter Claw here, which we do want to try getting that off before we go do our Dragon Soul or anything like that. I mean, before we start doing our World Breaker. Well, our Dragon Soul as well, but Fairy Fire makes it so we do 50% more damage whenever we do cast, so Dragon Soul will now hit 30 on all of them whenever we... Oh, well, actually we don't have all Dragon, so it'll hit like, I don't know what that number would come out to now. Something like 25-ish. But World Breaker would have that extra 50%, so you can see he's going to be going up to 45 is what he should hit on everything right here, due to that 50%. So as you can see, 45 down the line. With our stats that we have, and very, very heavy hits on it with that 20%, and it's pretty much already dead. We'll just throw Dragon Soul for a bit of souls, get another World Breaker in there, throw a Glitter Claw if we have it, though we don't have alignment, so not what it's going for, and just one more tap of any kind will take it out. Doesn't even matter if we go down, and dead just off the Glitter Claw. And yeah, that's pretty much the team. World Breaker with 20%, definitely very potent. But yeah, that's pretty much everything with this week's event objectives. If you still have any other questions or anything you want me to go over in the future or anything of the such, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and have a wonderful week. Best of luck with everyone. Goodbye.